connection now.
Hi there.
I'm back. I was silly. I got on the phone right whenever they were supposed to count us because they count every inmate that's in here at a certain time, and I got on the phone right before count. So I was like, no.
Yeah, I imagine there's a lot of stuff like that, but yeah, it's okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm here pretty much all evening, so it doesn't matter.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. So, okay, let's see, where were we? Right, we were talking about the way, yeah. Did you ever feel like you were actively deceiving people?
No, I never felt that way because I really honestly didn't think that I was. If, people think that I was deceiving people and creating this huge fraud and in on it with Mom, and I really wasn't. I feel like that I was just as used as everybody else was. She used me as like a pawn to do this kind of a thing. And I didn't know what she was doing. I was in the dark about it. The only thing I knew was that I could walk and that I could eat. As for everything else, she'd shave my hair off and say, well, it's going to fall out anyway, so let's keep it nice and neat and, shave it off. And she'd give me medication that she'd tell me is cancer medication, and I believed it. So I went this whole time believing I had cancer.
Oh, my gosh.
I honestly didn't know. So, whenever people say that I was deceiving them, I take offense to that because I'm like, I didn't know, and I'm sorry if y'all feel that way because that's honestly not how it came in my perspective. I didn't mean to hurt anybody or deceive anybody or, mislead anybody. That's not the kind of person I am. I try and be an honest person, and that's not the kind of person I am.
Yeah. With the eating thing, was your mom mostly feeding you through your feeding tube?
She would, yes. I would eat things like mashed potatoes and gravy, different things like that, pudding. But most of the time, it was always Pediasure or Ensure through my feeding tube. And that's also how she'd give me my medication.
Wow. That's terrible. I'm so sorry this all happened to you.
It's okay. Honestly, it's made me a stronger person because I truly believe that everything happens for a reason. And every hardship that anybody goes through makes them who they are. And, if they go through something really tragic or hard, it makes them a stronger person because they lived through it and it made them stronger.
Right. Your mom also lied to you about your age, right?
She did, yeah. She would tell me that, say if I was, whenever I got booked into the jail, I thought that I was 19, but I was 23, getting ready to be 24. And she'd tell other people that I was 16 or, various ages ranging from anywhere from like 13 to 16. And I didn't really understand why she would do that. So the story that she'd tell me is that, first we were in a very bad automobile accident, and she got injured a whole lot worse than I did.
This call is from a correctional facility and may be monitored and recorded.
She got, her leg had fractured and broken in several different places, and she had to have surgery to, sew it back up, have metal plates and screws in her legs and stuff, and she also had a head injury. So she would tell me, because of the car wreck, I'm not good with numbers. So I think you were born in 1995 or 96. She would change it. And, it was never a thought in my head to question it because, number one, I didn't want to make her feel bad. And two, I believed everything she said because why would you question your parents?
Right. Right, and I don't think lying to you that no one suggested it. There's nothing on TV or something where this happens to somebody. It's so, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So, are you mad at your mom?
I mean, I went through the 5 stages of grief or whatever. I forgive her. You know, ultimately what I did was horrible, and, you know, I have to live with what I've done. But I honestly do forgive her because I know that deep down, underneath it all, that she loved me. I think that it was just massively overshadowed by what she was doing.
Yeah. Your mom thought she was pretty sick herself, right? Like, you kind of alluded to that when you said about the accident.
Right, yeah. She had diabetes, and she was starting to have glaucoma.
Okay.
She had thyroid issues. I think it was hypothyroidism. And so I mean, she was really sick, and you know, she went in for a mammogram. I think the last week before the murder happened, and I think it came abnormal maybe, but we didn't, you know, the murder happened, so we weren't able to find out the results of that. So I mean, I don't know if she may have had breast cancer or not. But I know that she had a lot of illnesses, and as for mental illnesses, she had bipolar and audio schizophrenia, things like that. And my stepmom, Christy, thinks that she may have had malingering, which is like, I guess, when you do have a problem, but you make it bigger than it actually is.
Yeah. Yeah. Or you do it for financial benefit.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, towards the end, when you were starting to think about getting out of it, did you ever think about getting your father to save you?
Honestly, my mom was saying that he didn't love me and that he wanted nothing to do with me. So that wasn't really an option for me, because I thought if I'd go to him, he wouldn't care, you know, that he wouldn't do anything, if he would even pick up the phone, and I didn't even know his number. So, it crossed my mind, but at the same time, it was like, why would you contact somebody that wants nothing to do with you?
Right. I mean, it's funny because, you know, your dad and Christy, they say that she's really nice to them on the phone.
Yeah. You know, my parents were divorced, and my mom would like play like all nice on the phone and everything, and then as soon as the phone would hang up, she would talk bad about them. You know, and I don't know. I honestly don't know why she did that. I think that it's because that she didn't want me and my dad to talk so we could have a relationship, you know. And I don't know if it was that she wanted me all to herself, because she also had forged documents saying that she had sole and permanent custody of me. But my dad has, you know, real documents saying that he had joint custody of me. So it's just a whole big mess.
Yeah, it really is. When everything went down, were you surprised that your dad and Christy were so supportive?
I was very, very shocked, because first it was my Aunt Celeste that had contacted my attorney up in Wisconsin and gave her number, so I called her because I had no numbers. You know, I only knew my home number and nobody was there, so it was nice to get a hold of somebody. And I vaguely remember her from when I was very little, but she gave me my dad's number, and I called, and Christy had answered the phone, and, you know, they were, you know, immediately very supportive. And I talked to Dad for a little while, and he's like, you know, he was very calm and everything like that, and he was like, you know, have I ever really had a conversation with you without your mom being there? And I'm like, no. If we talked on the phone, she was always there by my side monitoring what I'd be telling him. So,
Right.
This was our first opportunity to really talk, without anybody monitoring or, telling me what I can and cannot say. But he immediately wanted to take, a flight to Wisconsin, but Mike Stanfield told him to wait until I got to Greene County Jail. And as soon as I got transported to Greene County Jail, they were there that day. They were there waiting for me. And it was wonderful to see them because they were just so loving. It was Christy and Dad and my Aunt Celeste and my Grandma Sharon. And, they were just all so supportive. And I think as soon as they started explaining their side of it and me explaining my side of it, we put it all together with also the help of my attorney who found out a lot of information for me, had all pieced it together, and a lot of this was like, oh my God, how could this be possible?
Yeah. Yeah, how it's possible is still a bit confusing. I mean, you may remember this, like at some point the hospital wanted her to get a power of attorney over you or guardianship, and a lawyer told her,
And that was another, I felt like that if I went to the police, that they would think I'm incompetent because of those papers saying I'm incompetent. So it seemed like
This call is from a correctional facility and may be monitored and recorded.
Every question that people would say, why didn't you go to this person? Well, why didn't you go to that person? Why didn't you go to the police? I felt trapped in every single way.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you ever think about Nick now?
I do occasionally. When everything was going down and I spent those 4 days with him whenever we were in Wisconsin for those 4 days, we laid low. I stayed at his house or his mom's house because he was living with his mom. And, we would talk and I broke down crying and he would try to comfort me and he would try and be nice to me. But occasionally he would, break out in these fits, anger fits. I guess he has like anger problems. He definitely has anger problems. But he's a very controlling person and very manipulative. So he got me to feel sorry for him a lot, and I guess I never turned on him because I thought he loved me, and he would be like, your father doesn't care about you, your mom didn't care about you, I'm the only person that loves you, so stick with me, don't leave me. And if, he said that if I turned against him, he'd kill me. And I quote, I will kill you so bad that they will never find your body.
You must have been really scared.
I was. A lot of things were going through my mind at that time. It was a combination of feeling like I had just stepped out into the real world and was free for the very first time. I always refer to myself as this little blue bird trapped in an invisible cage, and finally I was out of that invisible cage, and I was with someone that I loved, because I truly loved Nick, regardless of how controlling and possessive he was. I just lived that way with my mom, so honestly I didn't understand how controlling he was, but I felt protected by him in those 4 days. Now, after those 4 days, we got arrested, and I continued to be, by his side and support him. But then at some point in the time that I had to reflect on things, it changed. And I started getting resentful towards him because I'm like, he was older than me. He had more life experience. Why didn't he go to the police? Why didn't he, get a lawyer or try to help me in some logical way rather than, just being crazy enough and evil enough to do something like this?
But you told me before that you wanted him to rescue you.
Yes. I asked him to rescue me in, a bunch of times in Facebook messages and in text. And, this all started out as just a thought. And we pushed it back and pushed it back. And it was like, no, we'll try this. No, we'll try this, And my first thought was to get her to like him enough to where she'd allow me to have a friend, and eventually him, be more than a friend, and eventually get married and move out the house. But she met him and immediately hated him. And I think the way my attorney had explained it to me was that, you can't con a con man. And so I think she saw herself in him, and then vice versa. They both wanted to control and possess me.
Yeah. Where did she meet him?
Me and my mom were going to a movie theater, and we were going to go see the movie Cinderella. It came out last year.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking to Nick, and I'm like, this would be the perfect opportunity for us, for you to meet her and her to meet you, because she had, no idea that I was talking to him. So I thought if I can, introduce them to each other, it would be okay. But my mom immediately started to get jealous because I was paying more attention to him than I was her. And then she got really pissed off and stormed off, and then told me that, don't talk to him. He's creepy. I get bad vibes from him. You can't be friends with him. Da-da-da-da-da. And she ended up cussing him out on the phone and calling him, not a man and things like that, which pissed him off pretty bad. And he was like, well, she's on my bad list, and my bad list is not a place you want to be. And so I think it became a reality to him to do this after meeting her.
Right. How did but you were able to communicate with him without her supervising you, right?
Right. I would sneak online at night whenever she was asleep and and talk to him.
Okay. Yeah, 'cause, I've wondered sometimes how you managed to get away from her and send so many messages.
Yeah, while she was asleep.
Yeah. Because people say you were always together.
We were. I was never allowed to go anywhere by myself. So anywhere that she would go or that I would go, she would go. We were never, ever, ever apart. We even slept in the same bed.
Didn't that frustrate you as you got older?
I thought it was normal because, it was just me and her living in the house, and I didn't. She never let me go to anybody else's house, so
you have 1 minute left.
I didn't know how they lived. I have 1 minute left. I just put 60 minutes on here. Oh my goodness. Well,
right. I have a lot, although I would like to keep talking to you.
Okay. Yeah.
If they let you call me back.
Yeah, I can continuously put some minutes on, and it might be a few days, but I might call back,
Okay. All right, but thank you so much for calling already.
Not a problem. Thank you for being so patient with me.
No problem. I think, we'll talk.
Okay, that sounds good. Talk to you later.
Okay. All right, bye.
The person you